Iran has basically gotten everything it wants in the agreement because Trump was desperate to open the Strait of Hormuz. This is a huge black eye to the United States. I'm glad that Trump didn't engage in increased war crimes or, quote, destroy entire civilization. But this thing, 39 days in, is a total and complete disaster, and we have been right about it.
President Trump's decision to launch the war with Iran divided some of his most loyal and vocal supporters. But today, voices from both sides of this argument among the right appear to be coming to an agreement over the ceasefire, in that the assessment seems to be it does not benefit the United States.
I am a diehard supporter of President Trump, but I'm not celebrating tonight. I don't think that this is good. I think that this actually further legitimizes the Islamic regime in Iran. I think that they are now more legitimized than ever before, and they're more emboldened than ever before to continue oppressing the people in Iran and to continue attacking the United States of America.
All right, my panel is back. But before I talk to them about this, I want to play one more person who you might recognize talking about the language that the president used when he talked about wiping out an entire civilization in Iran, and that's Megyn Kelly. Let's watch what she said.
I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human? I mean, honestly, like the president, 380, yes, shut up. Fucking shut up about that shit. You don't threaten to wipe out an entire civilization. We're talking about civilians just casually in a social media post. This is completely irresponsible and disgusting.
Quite something. Who would like to take this one? Jamie Cahill.
When you lose Alex Jones, Laura Loomer, and Megyn Kelly, it is not a good day for Donald Trump. I also think it's fascinating because we're also, they're public figures, but also the MAGA base is angry and divided about this. They were angry that he got into the war. Now it seems they feel nothing was achieved. We've always thought that Donald Trump would hold his base no matter what. I'm really interested when we face the midterms, will people stay home? Will this have an impact on those midterms?
Kevin, where do you come down on this? Because there have been a number of different perspectives from the Republican that sits in your chair on this set every day, including some who argue that the Republican base is really more still traditional, what the Republican base has always been. They've been with the president, but they're actually more with him on Iran than some of these loud MAGA media voices that we hear. What do you think?
Well, I think he still has very strong support amongst his base, and he still commands and can mobilize his base very quickly. But is he losing a faction of it? Yes. And Megyn Kelly's sort of sentiment, if that's shared by 15, 20, 25% of that MAGA coalition, that's problematic when you're heading into a 2026 election environment where base motivation is a huge part of how you calculate victory. Because if you added in, and also one other thing I'd say is this didn't start with Iran. Second Amendment voters and Fourth Amendment voters, because of what happened with the immigration enforcement in Minneapolis, they had a lot of clamoring and sort of grumpiness with the president. So this is a sort of a little bit of a trend that the White House has to be very careful about, because also right now, if you look at numbers with independents, we're going to be the swing part, and that's why they call them battleground districts. That's the president's support with those voters, which he actually did pretty well with in 2024, has been declining. So there is a very real political calculation problem here that the White House is facing.
Yeah, and also remember why Joe Biden won. Yes, we were in a pandemic. Yes, the dynamics were very different. At the same time, people just wanted a normal president. And what you heard from Megyn Kelly is a sentiment of a lot of Americans. They don't like the rhetoric. A lot of Republicans just like to say, that's Trump being Trump. No, but now we are in a war and people believe that he is very dangerous. Now, fast forward to 2028, he's not going to be on the ballot. But who is? JD Vance. And JD Vance has had to go out and defend his every move. So at what point does JD Vance see the polling and believe that how do I differentiate myself from Trump in a way that I can win, but not alienate the MAGA base? And I think that is going to be a really big problem for him over the next few years, because as soon as you distance yourself from Trump, Trump will lose it. He will not stand with JD Vance. He will start talking about Marco Rubio. Oh, maybe there should be somebody else. And that'll be a difficult situation.
Well, it was Marjorie Taylor Brown today in a post, right? Because green things turn brown when they, I forget exactly his language, but called her a traitor again. I mean, to this point that Sochi's making, Mariana, I mean, the New York Times in their sort of fascinating TikTok for this book that Jonathan Swan and Maggie Haberman are writing, they talked about what Vance was saying in the room, and they wrote this, quote, in front of his colleagues, Mr. Vance warned Mr. Trump that a war against Iran could cause regional chaos and an untold number of casualties, and that it could also break apart Mr. Trump's political coalition and would be seen as a betrayal by many voters who had bought into the promise of no new wars.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually understanding where the MAGA base is. I mean, we saw in 2024, it was all about America first, right? No new wars. And this is the complete opposite of that. And you do see Vance, and it's going to be interesting the next couple of hours, I think the next couple of days. He's part of these negotiations. He is at least positioning himself as the responsible person in the room, trying to have these conversations. And if he is able to also claim victory, as he's obviously saying, you know, this is victorious for Trump already, how does he move forward talking about foreign policy? And that's something he's going to have to contrast himself with when it comes to Marco Rubio, because he's another contender possibly in 2028.
Does the president risk losing some of his most loyal supporters with the largest megaphones just months before the midterm election? So you guys are back. I wanted to talk to you both about this, because when you look at the actual polling, take a question like, does Trump have a clear plan for handling the Iran situation? MAGA voters, 93% yes. Okay, so we are seeing the MAGA part of the party, self-identified, say we're with Trump. And then, of course, the rest of the GOP, 47%. But who does marquee MAGA represent at this point?
Well, hey, I
would
mean,
love to find out. You're the one who's supposed to answer this one. No, seriously. You were in the first White House. They courted these people.
Yes.
They courted these people in the first White House, courted these people in the election of 2024, and others, Joe Rogan, some of the other manosphere, and all of that.
Who are also unhappy.
All of the individuals that you just put on there, Alex Jones included, who's got a big legal bill to pay, if we want to bring up a lot of things. Conflict sells. These individuals are really pushing for their own publicity. So right now, it's boring to agree with the White House. So am I surprised that I see a lot of these very loud voices who have their own platforms coming out and attacking the president?
So
no,
who do you
but
think
the poll
is
numbers are
watching?
the important
Do you think
thing.
it's Democrats hate watching and suddenly saying, hey, Tucker's making good points after they've called him anti-Semitic? Or is there a real world of people, independent voters?
You're assuming their numbers are growing with their comments.
Yeah,
I don't know that to be the case.
This is a gift for Democrats. We love this, right? Watch these influencers essentially attacking the president. And even if the polls don't reflect it, and I don't think they're right, quite frankly, about the MAGA base, but if they're attacking the president...
You don't think the polls are right?
No, I don't think that the influencers are right at all. I think we're totally out of touch with the MAGA base. I think the MAGA base is in line with where the president is. They support this war. They support the ceasefire. Whatever it is that he does, they're going to support. And so these influencers may actually be losing their influence.
And Trump is starting to tear into them. He went in on Tucker Carlson, calling him a low IQ person. Quote, he calls me all the time. I don't respond to his calls. I don't deal with him. I like dealing with smart people, not fools. These are not people you thought were fools when they were endorsing you and tearing down.
You never think somebody's a fool when they're supporting you.
I know, but are they being contrary? Is this contrarianism sells? Or does it actually reflect certainly the polling when it comes to independence?
If we really want to get to the bottom line, if you listen to what they're saying is, why are we in Iran? Mm-hmm. If I'm going to get rid of all of the rhetoric that's going on there, why are we in Iran when we have problems here at home with the cost of living, kitchen table topics? We have the midterm elections coming up. Are they wrong about that? No. Are they inflammatory in their language? Yes. The poll numbers that you pointed out at the beginning of this, that's what the White House is paying attention to.
That's right.
When those numbers start to slip, then we can have a whole other conversation.
But I think they completely misunderstand Donald Trump on Iran. The president has been hawkish on Iran for 40 years. He was hawkish in his first term. I don't know where they're coming up with this theory that somehow now all of a sudden they're shocked that he's taking a hard line on Iran.
Here.
They've basically been blinding themselves to
Well, let me pull one more thread. I know we're running out of time, but it looks to me as though this conversation on the right, the new right in particular, which is suffused with anti-Semitism, is a version of the conversation that Democrats and the left struggled with the last election, which is you have a part of your base, a very loud part of your base, that is framing the conversation in ways you can't defend. And right now, the administration feels like it's just ignoring that part of it, right? They're ignoring the fact that after courting a Nick Fuentes for many months, that all of his critiques about Iran also are deeply rooted in anti-Israel and anti-Semitic language.
I think that, Audie, I'm glad you brought that up, and I really do think that the one through line amongst the extreme left and extreme right in this influencer space is their desire to attack Jews on a daily basis, their obsession with Jews, and the anti-Semitism is pervasive.
But how long can the White House ignore that part of it?
Well, the president speaks out against anti-Semitism, and I'm going to say that they've taken actions that are controversial, certainly amongst Democrats, but taken actions to try to tamp down on anti-Semitism. And I think he looks at the language coming from Tucker Carlson and others and says that is off base. Now, he should and can and must do more always, but he has taken it on. In my party, I will say that we are having a fight right now over this, and we do not have clarity enough yet from our leadership to push back against it.
Okay.